and welcome. This is the Ghost History Medium. This is our location number 5, and we are actually in Boonton, New Jersey, in front of this abandoned mill house. I don't know much about this location. In fact, we only really know that it's a mill house, but I drive by this location often, and it's just been recently renovated, and every time I drive by, it's yelling at me to do a reading for it. So here we are, we're finally here. Sorry about the highway. We're gonna try and find a spot that's a little bit less noisy, and we'll go ahead with our reading. So as I stand here, opening up and grounding to this location, I'm just letting it know that I am here as a witness. I am here to tell its story and to tell its history in this time that it's getting renovated. Okay, so after I just opened up to this location, I started getting many individuals coming up from this area, from this direction. That's by the reservoir. Many individuals, curious, they're just walking up from the reservoir. Natives, so like some Native Americans, but mostly white men and women, children, family members, walking up from the reservoir. Curious, just kind of curious, just like, oh, she's opening up, like, let's see what they're doing over there. I also got the impression that the owner of this building lived close by, and he might have even lived in this house behind us. But I do get the impression that he lived close by, and that this was, this was like his baby. This was like was his baby, his project, his production, his contribution. He was a fairly wealthy individual, but he was a self-made wealthy individual. So he was not one that he came from riches. He was kind of a self-made individual. I also get that he was younger when he first built this place, and he got a lot of flack from it. Like, people like laughed at him, like, you'll never succeed, you'll never do this, you'll never win, you'll never be successful. But he was successful in the business that went on in here.
How old was he when he started it?
I want to say he was like in his 30s or 40s, but he was pretty young. He says it was in my blood. It was in my blood to start this. So maybe his family had started something similar and he wanted to start his own.
So the builder and owner were one and the same?
The first owner.
Yeah,
the first owner.
He's still here.
Started this place. Well, a lot of times when it's like your own child, your own creation, your energetic imprint will be prominent in a place like this. He says he lived close by. He worked here, but then there was a point in time where he was more hands-off, and he had it under his supervisor. So towards the end of his ownership of this, he didn't have a lot of influence, but there were supervisors that he left it in. I'm seeing him in a gray suit. It's specifically gray, and I'm actually specifically seeing him with a long, pointy, almost like a Frenchman-like beard.
Really?
Yeah.
What year? Era?
Late 1800s, like 1890. 1890 was when this it's a mill, and it used the water from the river. Well, we might be able to walk down by the river, but by the river, there were horses around here.
Really?
I'm getting women and men were here. So it wasn't just like workers. So it wasn't just only men, it wasn't only women, there were both. So I don't know if there were different departments, but it wasn't just like the mills in Massachusetts that I'm very familiar with, where it was just like women workers working all day long, like 20 hours a day. I'm also getting the sense that they weren't poorly treated because they were locals, and he felt like a local. So he was strict, but he treated them fairly well, to be honest, because he felt like he was a local and they were local with him. He's actually like really distressed that all of this construction's going on.
Yeah.
And he said this has happened before. They have reconstructed this building before, and it gave me that like in the 60s. He's saying in the 1960s they reconstructed this building again, and he got the same anxiety about it at that time. But they're renovating again now. He says he worries about the motives. He seems like a pretty decent guy. Like he really wanted them to. He really wanted his workers to succeed. He really wanted the area to succeed. Let's walk down a little bit because I kind of want to look into one of the windows.
Okay.
Started getting pain in my left arm, and my heart, my chest started going. So this was the collection area.
Okay.
So this was like the storage. This area. You can see the old stone walls there, but this was a building, obviously at some point, but this was the storage area where they stored their products. There were injuries here. Workers definitely, I don't know why I can't. So there were injuries here, and as I'm like looking into the windows, I see eyes, I see people watching, people walk in there, they're walking around in there. The construction workers who are working in there may experience this. I don't think they're being harmed, but I do feel like they might feel like they're being watched. I'm getting elbow pain, I got left chest pain. I'm also getting the impression, this is pretty terrible, so I'm also getting the impression that somebody either fell from a window or jumped from a window, and I actually get it from that one of these windows. I feel like it's a female who jumped or fell. I'm getting this like she just like leapt, like it was just like this like leap. It was just this like leap. I don't know what that means. I got 2 ages for her, which is kind of weird. So I got in her 20s, and then I got 50s. So I don't know if it was in like the 1920s when she jumped, and she was 50 years old, but or if she was 50 years old and it was 1920. But she was wearing a dress. Not a super like Victorian dress, like a very simple dress. So I don't think it was, I mean, it's possible it was in the 1920s, but it's desperation. I feel like it was like desperation.
It's really
It's
sad.
just desperation, desperation. I don't know if she was pushed, but I get that something happened, or an accident happened outside of this window. from a window. Like, wasn't from the roof, it was like
Right.
from a window.
Yeah, this is what, 4 stories?
Yeah.
5 if you count the upper area.
Basement. Oh yeah, that too.
So
It was a
possibly
busy
6.
place. This was a busy place.
Yeah.
Busy place. But it does seem like most workers were like pretty satisfied with their work here. Didn't feel like an abusive situation. It didn't feel like slave work, slave labor. It felt like it came from the community, and like the community had an opportunity to work in this building. It attracted more immigrants than maybe I think they anticipated, but and there was some drama about that in the community, but in general it seemed that people were happy with its contribution to the town. It was renovated twice. So it was this isn't the only time it's been renovated. It was done something to it again in the 60s. I don't know if it was functioning at that time. I don't think it was like a functioning facility, but it was either bought again or reused in the 60s, like 1960s. He's walking with us. He actually kind of likes this. He's like, yes, tell my story, tell it all. Okay.
Are you getting a name?
For the gentleman? Or Ralph Packard. It's an R name. It's an R name.
Okay. You want to keep walking?
He died from a heart attack. I got 50s. But he did well. From the ground up, kind of done well. Oh, he said they didn't give me anything.
Any what?
He said they didn't give me any money. They laughed at me. They didn't give me any money.
To start it up or to when he closed out?
No, when he was starting it. He said they didn't give me any money. Like his family didn't give him any money. He said nobody gave him. Well, he must have gotten loans, I'm guessing. But it said his family didn't give him any money.
So his family didn't want them to do it?
He said they laughed at him. I wonder what this building...
So this was more than just a project for him then. He was trying to prove something.
Yeah, this was like he said this was his baby.
Yeah, his life's work.
This was his baby. He kind of looks like Ulysses S. Grant. Did he have a beard, Ulysses S. Grant?
I would have to look at something to know. I don't know. I want to say yes, but I don't know for sure.
Like a very thin, not like a big bushy beard. It's like sort of thin. I don't know. I do like his energy though. Like as I've been speaking to him, I'm like smiling. He's so what happened in the 60s?
Say that again.
When did you sell this place? It stopped in the 30s and it was abandoned for 20 years. And then it was sold and renovated in the 60s. What was it into? He said it became a junkyard?
This is a junkyard?
He said it became a junkyard.
Well, there's a bunch of junk down there. But that could just be stuff from cleaning out the building.
I'm getting something about a school. That there was thoughts or plans to make it a school at some point.
I could see that.
I don't think that happened. But there was thoughts about making it a school. But I don't think that happened for whatever reason.
Looks like a Matilda school. Busy.
I'm getting coughing, like inhalation issues, ventilation issues, coughing. coughing, 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 coughing. Workers would cough. I also feel like they had like a cafeteria, sort of, like somebody made food for them here. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's like somebody gave them lunches.
Okay.
This end is where I felt like kind of the most of the negativity, if there's going to be negativity.
Mm-hmm.
So this gentleman, who was the owner and builder of this place, the original, he's saying that he worked in the top office right underneath the clock, and he took great pride in that it faced the town, and he could look out over the town, and he liked that.
I can see why.
But he said his office was underneath the clock and the clock tower part. As I was also walking down here, I did start to feel like there were some children who worked here.
Underage?
Oh yeah, underage children who worked here, but it was like normal back then. He said it didn't last long, so it wasn't like they worked there for a while, but at some point, yeah, there were children who worked here.
Why'd you get that information?
I don't know.
Did he tell you that, or is that
No.
what you're just picking up?
No, just picking up on that.
He commented on it.
Yeah, he said they weren't there long, but yeah, at some point he did have children work there. I don't think he had children. He was married. I don't think he had children. Dupree? Hearing Dupree. I don't know what that means. So I started getting a little more information about the gentleman who owned this place in the 60s. I don't get that he was a very honest fellow, that he kind of cheated people out of stuff. The first guy's like, yeah, he made this into a dump. He trashed this place. He trashed this place. So I do feel like there was they didn't get along very well, I guess. I mean, they didn't know each other in the same time frame. They wouldn't have been alive together. But he did not enjoy his company. Something about dogs, even guard dogs. I think he had guard dogs. It was kind of
junkyard owner?
Yeah, it was a kind of classic, something to do with cars. Remodeling cars, but it wasn't in the building. I don't know. But yeah, there's definitely some experiences that people would have in this area. They would have, on this property, they would have maybe respiratory issues, upper respiratory, coughing, not sneezing, but coughing, maybe difficulty getting their breath. There were injuries in this place. I'm not saying that anybody lost their lives during this work, although that usually did happen. But there were injuries, the run-of-the-mill, normal factory worker injuries. There were horses around here. The original owner has a lot of pride, and he's excited and really happy that they've decided, because it was a little up in the air. He said a little up in the air if they were going to destroy this building or not when this current owner bought it. It was up in the air, but it seemed I think the town wanted it to be retained, and they figured out a way that it would be more economical to renovate this place and not just knock it down. So he's really excited about that. The junkyard guy doesn't really care. But this is really interesting. And the other thing that's still happening as we're walking around is there are still those individuals. There's a row of nondescript individuals that came up over the hill from the reservoir. sad individuals. They're all sad individuals. Later than colonial, but earlier than the late 1800s. So maybe like 1850-ish time, 1850 to 1930. And they're saying Depression era.
That's what they're saying.
Well, I don't know. They all came up from there together. They all came up together from the reservoir area. So that's interesting. So yeah, can't wait to figure out more information about this place. Like I said, we knew nothing other than the name of the building. So can't wait to see if we can find any of these individuals from history. Thanks, we'll see you in our next reveal.